Welcome back to Behind the Belt. My name's Logan. I'm back with Faraz. It's been a minute, but Faraz, I mean, it's in the title. We got to go to AEW's All Out here in Toronto, and let me tell you, it was phenomenal. Welcome back, Faraz. How you doing?
I'm so happy to be back, Logan. I mean, AEW All Out was an amazing experience. I mean, we witnessed some great matches. I think we have a lot to talk about. So
A lot.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, this was a card that had what, 13 matches on it, from complete start to absolute finish. We're not going to go through every match here today because, again, I did just say that there's 13 matches on the card, and additionally on a day that WWE was counter programming them. So it was a massive day. We'll get into all of it. But for us, how about you start us off at the beginning?
I mean, we had a four-match pre-show which started at 2 p.m. Eastern. Those matches were good, pretty short matches, but the main card started at 3 p.m. And who better to start off a big pay-per-view in Toronto with none other than Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on FTR, Dax, Dax Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Logan, when Copeland came out, you were there, I was there, the entire arena singing Metalingus, and I think that was one of my favorite moments of like witnessing live wrestling. What about you?
Absolutely. And I mean, it started off with the little precursor that they did, with Bubbles there. That being said, you are totally right, for Oz. Like that, when Adam Copeland came out, the entire arena went insane. It was the moment that everybody was waiting for. I think that it was like that kind of relief that everybody got. Everybody knew that when that moment hit, when the song hit, the whole arena was going to erupt, and that is exactly what happened. Adam, like Adam Copeland, really took a moment to take it all in because it was a spectacular moment, one that even talking about right now, I'm getting shivers all up and down my body. I'm getting goosebumps. Especially being a wrestling fan, kind of, I'm late 20s. There's certain walkouts that, like, when they happen, bring me right back to my childhood, and ones that now, getting back into wrestling, that I am just I've really, really wanted to see. Ones like Randy Orton, ones like Adam Copeland, ones like John Cena, right? And the fact that I've gotten to kind of check those boxes, all three of those, really is something special. And really, I want to say put a cap on the night, but this was the beginning for us. This was the very first match.
Very first match, and for me it was my first ever live wrestling event experience. And I mean, to start off with, that was a dream come true. I mean, i've I've grown up watching him as Edge in WWE,
Hmm.
and now him coming out with the same theme song, which is so iconic, in his hometown, the entire arena singing that song. It was just awesome. And then followed by Christian Cage and his new character that he plays in AEW. It's awesome. And the little pose that they did, putting their hands in the ring, that was cool. I think the match itself was pretty awesome. I think um, Copeland and Cage being not being that young anymore, but I mean the match was like around 18 minutes long, and I feel like it was that pretty good spots.
For sure. Like it was, and I think that was something that surprised us across the board for us, is every single match was incredible for the most part. There might have been one or two that maybe don't hold up to that same standard. We might be stretching it a little bit. But that being said, this match was amazing. I mean, let's talk about it. There was a moment in this match that I don't think either of us saw coming, but the moment that we saw it unfolding, you and I looked at each other and we said, no freaking way, dude. And that was, if you haven't seen it already, which if you're watching us, you had to have seen it already. It's when Adam Copeland paid homage to John Cena doing the "You Can't See Me" five knuckle shuffle into the, I like to call it the FU. That's how what I was raised on. Now called the attitude adjustment. For us, what a moment
What a moment. I mean, we saw Cena doing it. He's
with.
been using a lot of wrestlers' finishing move sets or signature move set to give them a little tribute or homage. But
Mhm.
Copeland doing it in AEW when Cena is still competing for WWE, it's just amazing. I think it blew the internet. It was all over social media straight away. On all the big sports platforms posted it, and it was just amazing, man. I mean, the crowd went up; they were on their feet when it happened. Me and you were there; we
Yep.
witnessed it. Just amazing.
And first of all, maybe we should have said this off the bat. Shout out to AEW for giving us access to this event. The fact that we got to attend, and then not only did we get to attend, our seats were incredible. Like
Amazing.
for and I can only like maybe you can speak to this for us, but like for that to be your first live wrestling event to attend and to be have the seats that we did, AEW couldn't have been more gracious, couldn't have been more courteous, couldn't have been better to us. So thank you to AEW. Again, should have maybe said that off the bat. We'll say it at the end as well. But it's, to have been sitting where we were for this moment that has gone viral within the or within the wrestling space, just just an incredible moment. And then, like you said, the match was a great match. I would say that was probably one of the bigger moments. There was another moment where both Christian Cage and Adam Copeland did each other's finishers, and I thought that was really cool as well. Especially again in front of the Toronto crowd, which was
Over
electric.
15,000 people.
Exactly, it was it wasn't sold out. Maybe regardless of what Tony Khan says, it wasn't completely sold out, but it was as close to sold out as you could have gotten. And I think again we can have our overall thoughts of the event at the end, but was I would say a home run of an event. And leading into the end of this match, we did have something really, really cool happen. Do you want to tee that up for us, Faraz?
Another big moment. I mean, we were talking about big moments in this match. We've already discussed two that you've mentioned. There
Mm-hmm.
was another one. The debut of Beth Copeland
Mm-hmm.
in AEW. I feel like that was big. We saw FTR came out with Stokely, who was their manager, but Christian and Copeland they were alone. And for backup, of course, I mean it was obvious that Stokely was gonna interfere in the match, and for backup, I mean when the music was playing, they didn't show the name until like for good 30 seconds, and when they showed the name Beth, the crowd erupted.
Absolutely. Everybody knew what was exactly going on. And we were really or just kind of paint the picture, we were around a lot of other influencers in the space as well, which was really cool to have our reactions, see their reactions, and kind of discuss everything that was unfolding with them. That was one of those moments where when Beth Copeland came out, I'm not sure if she's going to go by Beth or Beth Copeland. I'm assuming
She's going by Beth Copeland.
amazing. So when she came out, that was she spears I don't know the gentleman's name, but spears him, goes to help Adam and Christian Cage, and just was an absolutely incredible moment.
It was amazing. I mean, and then led to them winning the match.
Hmm.
But what happened after the match was also interesting. If you want, I can talk a
Yeah.
little more about that. I mean, the patriarchy showed up with Mother Wayne, Nick Wayne on a wheelchair, of course, at top of the stage, and Cape Sabian tying Copeland with the handcuff at the bottom ring, with FTR also attacking them, and then yeah, FTR pile driver. I think they used a pile driver on Christian Cage, and then
Yeah.
when Beth tried to fight back, they pile driver her as well. which is interesting, and it's a new storyline to, I mean, for AEW to work on. I mean, kind of interesting end to a great match. Even that happened after the match, by the way, because Copeland and Christian won the match.
Exactly. And it was such an interesting way to kind of deal with that. I've thought from the creative AEW is uh, Edge gets, or Christian K, or one more time, run it back. Adam Copeland gets handcuffed to the ropes, and Beth Copeland looks at him, gives him a kiss, and is like turns around and is like, I'm gonna fight this. FTR standing right there, and she tries to fight, but it does not go well. I think this is going to be a storyline that fans are going to be very, very keeping their eyes on, or keeping a close eye on. I'm really interested to see where this goes
Yeah.
moving forward. And to be fully transparent, like Faraz and I are big wrestling guys, but we weren't the biggest AEW guys. And I mean, I'm not to spoil anything, but I think that changed after this. Faraz, moving on to the next match here, where we had Eddie Kingston defeating Big Bill via pinfall.
Yeah. I mean, Eddie Kingston is a certain crowd favorite. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody loves him, and he was gone for way too long.
What was it, 16 months or something along those lines?
16 months,
Yeah.
absolutely, almost 2 years. I mean, that's a long time. I mean, he's been a regular part of AEW, and him going out for 16 months. I think AEW has always done, I mean, a great job with Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was him and Mox doing, I loved their feud back in the days. It was a couple of years ago, but it was amazing. I think Eddie's great on the mic, and a lot of fans were kind of upset that they revealed him before the pay per view. A lot of people wanted to be a surprise,
Yeah.
but and Tony Khan talked about it. It didn't really matter because he still received a great response from the crowd when he walked out. And I think it was a short match, 7 minute, 8 minute match, but
Yeah.
I think good. I mean, Eddie did what he does. Big Bill for people who don't watch AEW is Big Cass from WWE back in the days. It was him and Enzo Amore. He used to be a tag team, but now he goes for as Big Bill in AEW, the tall 7 feet guy. But I feel like it was a sloppy match, not great of the matches, maybe one of the worst of the night. But I think Eddie did what he does, and crowd loved it.
Yeah, I think expectations for this match weren't super high. You're getting a big return that was a fan favorite. One of the ones going into this where people are like, I'm really excited to see Eddie Kingston come back. And again, when you're off for that long, do you expect to have a 15, 20-minute match, maybe even longer? No, it was a great showcase. But overall was just kind of more fanfare than anything. But again, not a bad match, right? Like, not a bad match. Not the worst short match of the day. And, we don't need to go into it in terms of cross program, maybe the opener to WrestlePalooza. We're going to save our thoughts on WWE and WrestlePalooza for another event. But overall, was exactly what this match needed to be. Next, we had Mark Briscoe defeating MJF in a tax and tables match.
Logan,
Okay. Yep.
AEW is known for matches like this.
Yep.
I think you agree. I mean, one thing that differentiates AEW and WWE is bloody matches, and this was the first one of the night. We know what the second one was.
Yeah.
It's not hard to guess, but
No.
this one, I feel like the match was still entertaining, to be honest. I mean, sometimes when I see clips of AEW on Instagram or TikToks and bloody matches, I'm like, I'm like, this is not wrestling. But like, I felt like this match was still not bad. I mean, there was a lot of thumbtacks
Mm-hmm.
and MJF and even Briscoe. Briscoe had like some on his skull. I mean, literally. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it was if for some people I see it's hard to watch, and there was a lot of moments where the crowd was like, I want to watch this, but it was still entertaining. I feel like. What are your thoughts?
This is one of these things that really gets me thinking about the product, because there was a point during this event for Oz where I turned to you and I said, I think, and this is a hypothesis. This is not something that I think is battle tested because we don't consume the AEW product on a weekly basis. I think we will moving forward, but I turned to you and I said, I think AEW doesn't necessarily translate as well in person compared to TV. And what I mean by that is the experience that you and I had at this event was like no other experience I've had at any sort of sporting event at all. It was probably the most entertaining thing that I have been to. And I've been to other wrestling shows. I was fortunate enough to go to Money in the Bank in Toronto, which was a great, great PLE, but it was nothing compared to this. And the reason why you go to an event like Money in the Bank is you're going to be see the ladders, you're going to see the tables, you're going to see the chairs, right? And that was this event but on steroids. We got tax, we got fire at one point, maybe not necessarily
We
right in
got
front
we
of
got
us.
we got chairs with tax on them.
Yeah, like this was bloody, it was entertaining, but the one thing that really stood out was like at the very beginning of the match, Briscoe takes there's four bins around each post of the ring, and immediately MJF leaves the ring, and Briscoe starts slowly pouring each one of those buckets on the middle of the ring, and he's just adding more tax and more tax and more. You're like, he's not going to pour all four of those buckets, right? And he does. And Tony was asked about this. What was the number of tacks at the end of the show? And he was like, I wanted to say a number, but like it could be more than that for all I know.
For sure.
Um, but the match itself started where that happened. He pours all the tax. MJF comes back into the ring, and they kind of take turns being like, "Who's gonna get the first slam? Who's gonna take the first bump?" And that was like suspenseful and was a great way to kind of tell the story of that match. Right? We all know somebody's gonna take that slam, but who's gonna be the first one? And the fact that they were drawing that out only made us more intrigued. And again, I don't know if that's something that translates as well in person because, or sorry, when you're watching it at home, because like we're there, like we're what 30 feet removed from seeing somebody take tacks to their back, or when MJF shoved his face into the canvas, like it was it was something else, but it was entertaining.
It was entertaining, yeah, and that's what I mentioned. I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. When I see clips on Instagram and TikTok, I don't really. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. This is not wrestling. But when you
Mm-hmm.
watch it in person, like you mentioned, it's a different experience. I mean, it I found it entertaining. Yes, it can get too much at some at a certain point, but overall the match was entertaining. But one thing I want to ask you about this match
Yeah.
because I was a bit surprised. I mean, MJF is one of the top guys AEW have right now,
Mm-hmm.
um, and him taking a loss at such a big pay per view, I was a bit surprised about it. But I want to know your thoughts on it.
I think both of these talents are in very interesting positions. And what I mean by that is I think MJF is in a spot where even when he loses, he goes up. And what I mean by that is his character is perfect for that. He can throw almost that adult tantrum that MJF does, where it's like, I'm the best, this should never happen. And while also putting over somebody like Briscoe, right? Um, I think you have to be very careful in an organization like AEW not to bury talents and also to continue to build talents. And the reason why you're surprised, I think, is exactly that, right? You can have, when you look at maybe best route for that match, the match was excellent.
It was, for sure.
So when you look at that, just that alone, perfect. What's the best end result? And I think in terms of moving forward and having people engaged is exactly what you're saying. Is you're confused. You're what? How could this happen? But that makes you want to tune in. That makes you want to be like, where are they going to go with this, right? And I think by having MJF lose, it doesn't lower his stock at all. It builds up. It builds up Briscoe. Yeah, Briscoe, and makes people like us who maybe weren't everyday consumers to now be everyday consumers to answer those questions that you're asking. So yeah, I don't know. It's.
Yeah,
I think they handled it perfectly.
I think you summed it up well. I mean, I get it now as well because not on every big card they'll let every big name win because if they do that, people are not going to be interested and it's going to be boring. So I get it. I mean, making someone like Briscoe get a win and then just for people to tune in to see how what happens next with this storyline. So I get it now. I mean, we can move on to our next match, Logan.
Yeah.
The next match, The Demand, featuring Ricochet, formerly known as Ricochet in WWE, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona as GOA, and that they defeated the Hurt Syndicate, featuring Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP by pinfall. It was a trios match. I think that's what AEW likes to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ric- I think it was a good match again. Great talent in the ring.
Yep.
We've seen Bobby, MVP, Shelton, Ricochet in WWE before as well. We can't complain on how they wrestle or how they fight,
Yeah.
but I think great match. First time me seeing GOA,
Uh
and
huh.
I feel like they were pretty good.
I mean, for us, we hurt people.
We
We
heard,
hurt people. Like I'm like the Hurt Syndicate is one of those situations where is that not best case scenario when if you're one of those three and you leave WWE and you're not necessarily clear on where your next path is, and then fast forward to now, you and I going, wait, it's Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP? Like, those are massive names.
big names,
And the
huge.
fact that, MVP, I think up until this point, hasn't done much
Yeah,
wrestling, if at all,
yeah,
for AEW. So the fact for this to be the event, and again, for somebody like yourself and myself who maybe hadn't gotten to see him wrestle, but we were at right place, right time, and now that's kind of one of those points where we got to check that box where it's like, yeah, we got to see all three of these guys wrestle, and it just so happened they're in the same faction wrestling together on the same night. Now, unfortunately, they didn't end up picking up the win, but I think the result of this was perfect. You look and you say, okay, MVP hasn't wrestled in X amount of time, so of course he's going to be the one to take the pin, right? And
that's
that only helps further any storyline that they've got going on with maybe there's going to be some cracks in the Hurt Syndicate where it goes like, how could we would have done great if it wasn't you, or just any which route that they can go with it. But I mean, not to be um too on the nose here, but that's an MVP star-studded cast right there for the Hurt Syndicate for us.
absolutely. I think similar thing that we discussed with MGF and Briscoe's match. Like the bigger names didn't take the win in this match either. And again, that's AEW's way of getting people to tune in to watch more and what unfolds next. I mean, another great match.
Wasn't too
MVP
long,
wasn't too long. I believe it was about
just under 14 minutes.
114 minutes, and you expect these matches with like six people involved going for like 20-25 minutes. So it was a pretty short match, but good one. I
And you
mean,
know who was really, really good in this? Ricochet.
Ricochet, absolutely. I
Ricochet was
mean,
great. I think my again, not to be too on the nose, but MVPs for this match would definitely be either Ricochet, Bobby Lashley, or Shelton Benjamin is still so athletic.
he is, man, and he's like what close to 50 now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he was doing stuff in this match that I did not see coming. Like again, when you read those names, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin and MVP, you think, okay, guys that are past their prime. And that may be true, but it was not apparent.
I mean, the hurt business was the idea that WWE kind
Yep.
of introduced, and they, to be honest, fumbled it because it was working well, and it had a fourth member named Cedric Alexander who is still with WWE, I believe. But it was a solid faction. I think they mostly dominated during the COVID era,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of people, even I, kind of stopped watching wrestling during that time. So I don't know much about the Hurt business or Hurt Syndicate, but since they joined AEW. I think AEW has done a fantastic job with these three guys. I mean, with the titles they had and all that. But yeah, great match. I think one thing I want to mention is Ricochet's character was a lost guy in WWE.
Absolutely.
Nothing like promos were not there. The quality of promos were not there. Even his characters was like up and down, changing off, and then they take him off TV whenever they wanted to.
Yeah.
I believe when he came out in that press conference with GOA, I liked him. I liked this heel Ricochet character that he was trying to play. I think he'll do better in AEW, and he is doing better in AEW.
Absolutely. It's I think we said that like there was multiple points where I think we kind of had these like aha moments or you know, just a moment where we were like this feels special. The night felt special. There was so much riding on this for AEW. And again, we'll get into our final recaps at the end, but it was matches like this that maybe didn't have as much hype around it as maybe a main event or the coffin match or some of the other championship matches, but just over delivered in every area that it could. And
Absolutely.
it could not have worked out any better for AEW in especially matches like that. Um, let's move to the TBS championship now between Mercedes Monet, CEO,
CEO.
CEO, and Rio. Is that how you say it for us? I think, yeah, that's what I was hearing. Um, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this one. I think this was the match that you and I collectively agreed was maybe the low point of the night. And when I say low point, I don't
Yeah.
mean like bad. I don't mean non entertaining. I just mean again
It, to
we'll
say
get
in simple words, worst of the best, probably.
perfect. You summed it up perfect for us. Like it was good. It was exactly what it needed to be. I think I don't know about you for us, and again, this take this kind of with a grain of salt, being people that don't consume the product
Yeah.
every single week, but still are aware of it and follow along when we can. I don't like. I either they're building to something for Mercedes Monet,
Yeah.
whether it's another title so she can, I think, hold the record for any wrestler within any big organization for most amount of belts held. But yeah, I don't know. Not really a lot going on here. The match was good.
Match is good. I feel like again, I don't know much about Rio, but she looked pretty good in the ring.
Yeah.
I believe she's a good wrestler. Another one from Japan, and I think every Japanese wrestler we've seen in AEW or WWE, they're fantastic. Um, but yeah, I feel like the match was good. Her entrance was pretty. Mercedes's entrance was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like how many belts? Like 9 belts she has now.
Yeah, so she was wearing the one belt and then I think she had
Eight,
eight
yeah.
young males who were very fit wearing the belts for her. It was a very interesting walkout, but was super fitting for her whole shtick. It was great. It was great. Like it wasn't. It's weird because it
Yeah,
just wasn't the thing that was like the most memorable because so much happened, but it was still like a good match. I don't think
good
this
match. Yeah.
one honestly longer than I expected. I thought this one was going to be closer maybe to the Eddie Kingston match or like the just under 10-minute mark, but seeing that it was 16 minutes, wow, that's I didn't realize it was that long.
Now the next match.
Yeah.
Look, I would say this was the match of the night for me personally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was a five-star match.
Okay.
It was Okada taking on Takeshita and Mascara Dorada, and Okada came out victorious. And I mean, both two members of the Don Callis family
Hmm.
fighting in this match, Okada and Takeshita. And I mean, this match was 21 minutes long, but I loved every single bit of this. I know Okada is great. I know Takeshita is great. I mean, I've watched those two in the past as well, in New Japan and AEW before. But Mascara Dorada, I mean, that guy was amazing. I know for people who again don't watch AEW, he was known as the Grand Metalik in WWE back in the days, and now in AEW is known as Mascara Dorada. But what an amazing match! Like great proper wrestling match and amazing spots.
It was bell to bell for us. Like these, like they. This is like when you see Gunther put on a match with like I don't know what maybe like a Drew McIntyre or something like that, where you're like, wow, like meaning like their chemistry was so good. The fact that these three had the chemistry that they did, it was it made me really start to think like again this match specifically really start to think maybe this is where the best wrestle, right? Because when it comes to just wrestling, we're just talking about in-ring performance. It's matches like this that make you go, wow, this is special. This is really special. Like every single person in this match had their purpose, whether it was high flyer, whether if it was chops, whether it was hard clotheslines, right? I think the match started off with Dorada getting thrown out by one of the other two, and then he comes and then they go face to face, and then he comes back in, goes to break them up again, and then he gets thrown out again, and then they get face to face, and then he comes in, and I don't remember the next sequence, but it was like him being like, hey guys, I'm in this match too. I know everybody's talking about you two, but
Yeah,
I'm here too. And I would say every single one of the biggest pops or biggest spots in this match, the ones that got the biggest reactions, was Dorada. He
absolutely.
was phenomenal.
And I'm looking forward to watching that guy more in AEW. I mean, I became a fan of that guy, and I think I can say the same for you as well.
Absolutely.
But the major storyline that this match had was, I mean, of course, Okada retaining the AEW Unified Championship.
Yeah.
Also, after the match, we saw him and Takeshita coming face to face with Don Callis right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think that's a match they're gonna do. It's gonna be a one-on-one match now, and I guess it's gonna be at Full Gear because that's what the next pay-per-view is.
Seems
Uh,
like it. Yeah.
and it's interesting. It's both members of the Don Callis family fighting each other, so the title stays within the family. But again, great match to look forward to. Those two are amazing,
Hmm.
and they have a rivalry in the making, man. Takeshita and Okada.
And like it just to go back to a point in just something that again this night did so good was not only was it a spectacular match, but it set up a story that I wasn't necessarily following previously, but I am sure going to follow moving forward. And again, just did exactly what it needed to do, especially on a day like September 20th, 2025.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, for me, match of the night, 5-star match. We've had more. We've had multiple 5-star matches on the night, in my opinion, but
Yeah.
me, this one stood out the most. I would put it at number one if I have to rank the matches. And moving
Okay.
on to good and entertaining matches, Logan. Um, John Moxley with Marina Shafir.
Bros, do you think he bled in this match?
Uh, what's your guess? Morgan?
Well, we were there, and not to spoil it for anybody that didn't watch it, but oh yeah,
Oh yeah, not surprising at all. I mean, I mentioned in the during the Briscoes match that there was another bloody match of the night, and there's it's not hard to guess at all.
yeah.
So yeah, John Moxley defeated Darby Allin with the help of Marina Shafir and a returning Pack.
I mean,
We'll come that to that. We'll come to it later on because that was way down the match. I mean, the match started off with I think Moxley coming out and Darby Allin just attacking him during
yeah.
the end.
So yeah, you're exactly right. Moxley comes out into the crowd. He came out at the back of the arena on the floor level, closer to our side, which was the side that they would be facing the camera. Moxley then is walking again, still towards the back to the other side, so to the other side of the arena where they wouldn't be facing the camera. And as he's walking, Darby Allin comes out and just attacks him immediately. It is on like Donkey Kong. I don't know why. I just immediately that came to mind. It was on from the moment that he came out, and it was one of those where it's like I want to watch, but I don't want to look up at the screen because it's like we're here live. We didn't really have the best angle of it where it was until it came back to the ring. But yeah, there was what was it? What's Darby Allin's move where he just like is it the coffin bomb where he's just like gets
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
he I guess got John Moxley down, immediately climbs up something and just does the coffin bomb on him. It was again, it was on from the moment that it started.
And then Darby Allin just drop kicked Moxley
Oh my
on the
god.
stairs, like concrete stairs.
Like I to paint the picture for people, imagine you're on a set of stairs, concrete stairs. Like there's no like metal stairs would be better. And you jump as high as you can, drop kick somebody, and then land on your back on said concrete stairs. I totally forgot about that until you mentioned that. That to me, that even though there was some insane bumps in this match, that might have been one of the craziest bumps that I've seen in a long time.
When I came back home, I saw it again on Instagram, and
Oh
Moxley didn't even get hurt. He didn't go down. It was Darby Allin got hurt most from that spot right there.
yeah,
I mean, his back hit the concrete stairs. What do you? I mean, the guy is just next level, man. He has no fear at all.
there's no break falling that like there's ways that if people don't know, there's ways that you can break fall where it's you're kind of slapping the mat or the ground that it kind of distributes the way that you land, and that's what allows a lot of these wrestlers to take the bumps that they do. There is no break falling when you're on a set of stairs. You don't know where your head's going to land, you don't know where your back's going to land. It is just taking the pain. Wow. Yeah, that was I'm glad that you've reminded me of that. My reaction is very clear on how I feel about that bump.
And a typical John Moxley match when they came back to the ring, some little move sets, and then the fork or screwdriver came out, and I
Yeah,
think
I think
it
it was
was
a
Darby.
screwdriver.
It was Darby first to. I mean, I think he bit his earlobe
Yeah,
first.
that's when the blood first started. He was just biting the crap out of his ear,
Yeah,
which made Moxley bleed immediately. Like it was, I think we were maybe like 3, 4, 5 minutes into the match. I say that just because the spill, they weren't gonna do the bust open part in the crowd. So once that ended, it wasn't long before Moxley was busted open.
and then I think it was hidden in one of the turnbuckles. I
Yeah,
think Darby ripped one of the turnbuckles on one of the top
I took a
corners,
video of that. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll play that video right now. Um,
and he took out a fork, I believe, or
I don't
was
know if it was a fork. Like honestly, it reminded me like more of like a skewer,
skewer,
like a wooden skewer type thing. Yeah, yeah,
and then he just poked Moxley in the head, and yeah, and then it was all blood,
all blood. I
all
mean,
blood. Yeah,
and and again, that's just the blood. Let's. What about the coffins for us? We had coffins getting slammed on fingers. We had both of them. They set up a coffin upright, and then Darby Allin comes out, dives out of the ring, and they both go flying into the coffin together. Um, Darby Allin took a couple bumps on what looked like, imagine metal for like a safe or like a filing cabinet, that like kind of like gray kind of metal. There was a wooden coffin, and then there was a coffin made out of that.
Yeah.
And Darby Allin took some crazy bumps on top of that metal
Yeah,
coffin.
when Pac came out
Yep.
and shocked the world with the return, and I think he's the one who power bombed Darby Allin on the middle coffin.
Hmm.
It was ridiculous.
I
And
think
then
you got a good video of that. I unfortunately wasn't videoing at the
yeah,
time,
I-
but that was
it
from in the ring to outside of the ring onto the metal coffin, right?
yep, outside the ring, middle coffin, Darby Allin on his back landed on the middle coffin.
Like this guy's back. Like again, like we're between the concrete, safe metal, meaning like metal that is made for a safe, and all the other crazy bumps that he took, like after that sequence where he was poking John Moxley in the head, John Moxley goes out of the ring, Darby Allin gets up to the top turnbuckle and just coffin bombs again onto him. Like, man, Darby Allin is special, man. Like, again, I think it's one of those things that when I had watched him in the past, I watched him and I go, man, this guy's he just takes bumps. Like, that's his thing. He just takes bumps. But watching him in person, I couldn't have been more wrong. Like,
Yeah.
he is an athlete that goes out and puts his body on the line for the entertainment of every single person in that crowd and watching around the world. And if you can't appreciate that, I mean, I don't really have much more for you.
Yeah, and when the match ended with Pac bringing him back to the ring, I think putting him in a death bag, putting him in a coffin, Moxley shutting the coffin. That was the end of the match. And then after the match, the Death Riders they came out. Claudio Castagnoli, Dan Garcia, Marina Shafir, Pac was already there,
Yep.
and Wheeler Yuta. They all came out, and then they dragged the coffin to the back.
Yeah, they carried him out like it was a funeral. They put him in a body bag. They put that body bag in the coffin and then carried him out like it was a funeral. Again, the story writing, the storytelling, phenomenal.
And that didn't end there. I think a couple of matches later, they
Yep.
showed in the back during the backstage segment. Um, I think Darby was still in the coffin,
Yes.
and the Death Riders. I think Moxley told them to leave, and they left. And I think Moxley was trying to put the coffin on fire, so he opened the coffin, and Darby was there, and he pushed him out. He kicked him or something. I think he hit some moves on him, put him
The
in
body
the
bag.
body bag, and then literally put what was it, alcohol, petrol, what was it?
Whatever it was, it
Well,
burned and it set him on
it
fire.
literally set him on fire for a
Yeah.
good 4 to 5 seconds, and then extinguishers came out. I think this rivalry, the storyline it's not gonna end for a good amount of time because Darby's alone. He needs backup, and I think it's gonna go on for the next couple of months.
Yeah, that was one we were talking to a couple of the influencers that were around us, and they said definitely is going to lead to what could be blood and guts, which what AEW has done in the past. But yeah, was one thing we didn't touch upon was Darby Allin did put John Moxley in a plastic bag, which did look like he was suffocating a little bit, which was scary, especially with all of that blood in there. Yeah, just overall was a gruesome but extremely entertaining match. Maybe if we were sitting a little bit closer, we wouldn't have been feeling the same way we're feeling, but overall was extremely entertaining. I want to pivot to probably one of the biggest shocks of the night.
Oh
And this was the eighth match of the night. It was the AEW Women's World Championship, where Chris Statlander defeated Tony Storm, Tekla, and Jamie Hayter by pinfall. She ended up rolling up
Oh,
Tony Storm by pinfall. Um, I don't think anybody was expecting this. I was watching a couple predictions beforehand just to kind of get an understanding of where the space kind of was thinking about these matches, and I think across the board, every single one that I watched was basically like, there's 0% chance that Tony Storm loses this.
oh yeah.
And here we are, a couple days removed, and we were wrong. I mean, we weren't wrong, but the space was wrong.
I think going into this match, I feel like Statlander was I think the most underdog to win this match. I don't think anybody thought she would win.
Yeah,
Um, Tekla had a good chance. I feel like Jamie Hayter had a good chance, but most of the crowd and everybody watching on their television probably thought that Tony Storm was going to win. I mean, she is the biggest women's wrestling name in AEW right now.
yeah,
Um, and I think recently in an interview, she also said that she wants to retire to AEW. She's not going to move out to any other wrestling company.
yeah.
Um, and I think you went out to get some drinks. I saw the finish of this match, and when Statlander rolled her up, and it was 1, 2, and 3, nobody thought it was going to end like that, and everybody got on their feet, and they were like shocked.
Yeah,
What
so
shocked? Yeah,
uh, one thing to clarify, I was going out to get a Red Bull because it was very late and we were media, so I was not drinking at this event. But that being said, you're totally right. Like, because of the narrative going into it, I was like, good match, kind of a lot going on. I'm feeling my energy drop, and we knew we had to go to the press conference after. I wanted to be kind of sharp, so I was like, okay, let me go see if they have energy drinks. I'm gonna go get a Red Bull. I go to the washroom real quick because, again, pretty sure that I know Tony Storm's gonna win this. Get my drinks, about to go to the washroom, and everybody stops. Everybody's like, I just hear one person go, "What the heck?" Because there was monitors and stuff going around, and immediately somebody goes, "Wait, Tony lost?" And I'm like, "Excuse me? Like, what?" I stop, and everybody in the kind of common areas collectively just like was just like unsure what to do. Like, they're, I'm sorry, what? What just happened? Like, the other than maybe Mercedes Monet, the main event with Adam Page, this was like one of the most like shoo-in things, Tony Storm to win, right? Nobody was expecting this.
yeah.
And again, just it was my reaction, and then getting to look around and see other people's reactions too. This was like I said, this was a surprise.
But like in a bigger picture, I mean, it completed the whole card. I mean,
Yep.
you have had returns, you have
Yep.
had great matches, bloody matches, and you have had a shock. It's like a complete card with everything possible
Yeah.
happen. Um, Amazing. I mean, the last two matches of the night, we're coming to an end here, Logan. The
Cinema.
next, the next match, a, a four-way ladder match where Brodito, including Brody King and Bandito, defeated the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, Jet Speed, Kevin Knight and Speedball, Mike Bailey, and from the Don Callis family, Hikiro and Josh Alexander. I mean, look, a,
Ugh.
a match filled with spots, table spots, ladder spots, and just crazy. I mean, it was great madness.
It was, to say that one of the best ladder matches of all time took place in AEW. I might get some flack for that, but if this isn't top, it may be top 3, and it sure as shit is top 5.
I felt like I really enjoyed the fatal. It was a six way. I don't know, the the ladders or TLC match that took place at SummerSlam between
Yes.
the SmackDown Tag Division. I enjoyed it, but again, I felt like it was short and they wrapped it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, we talked about this on one of
Yeah.
our previous episodes. Yeah.
Um, but this one I felt like was as long as it should have been,
Yep.
24 minutes,
Yeah.
and I think they did a little thing that WWE did in that match as well, where there was like four tables and four corners.
Yeah.
Only thing different was they had three tables, and the fourth spot was on a ladder,
Yeah.
which was absolutely insane.
It
Um,
was that was incredible. I think you and I immediately when it happened, we turned to each other and we
yeah,
saw it all taking place, getting set up, and we're like, they're not gonna. They said WWE hold my tables. I'm gonna one up you with a ladder. And the guys that went through that ladder were big men. Like it was like, I'm sorry, they're going what? They're going where?
it was Brody King, I think, who took the spot on the ladder.
Yep.
He was the biggest guy in the match.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, really impressed with the talent I and me and you saw in this match. Brodito, of course, they retained the titles. The Young Bucks, they're like a legendary tag team. We already know that.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, the other two teams with the Jet Speed and the guys from the Don Cal family, Josh Alexander and Akira, I think they all were pretty amazing, talented, a great match as it should have been. And yeah, I don't have much to say on that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think the some of the highlights of this were definitely like the Young Bucks were great. Jet Speed had some really cool spots. I wouldn't say that they had as much like they had really great spots, but weren't like super. They weren't around for like the whole match. I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say there. Their spots were great, but overall were like kind of far and in between. Um, Brodito, I think, also just amazing. Like, they were probably my MVPs of
Yeah,
that match. Um, I think the spot where was it the Young Bucks that went through the table, or no, it was the Young Bucks that set up the table, and
up to
then yeah, and then nobody. If you weren't at the event, you probably didn't see that. We saw the Young Bucks kind of setting up the table, and then anyways, but there was just so many. Like it's hard kind of recapping this because there was so many spots in this match that were absolutely mind blowing. It's really hard to kind of recall and be like, oh yeah, like this specific moment, but that was the three tables and then ending on the ladder was amazing.
If I have to pick one MVP, it has to be Bandito
Yeah.
from Brodito. I think he was absolutely amazing, and then he got his flowers in the press conference as well with Tony Khan and everybody kind of praising him. Yeah,
And actually, one more thing for Oz, we got to sit with D. Lou with from the D. Lou podcast, and I turned to him because I wanted his opinion. I know this is something that we've talked about in the past, but does AEW have a better tag team division than WWE? That's something that maybe we can get into on a future episode and really kind of dive deep in. But after watching something like this, like I know I just off that alone, I am probably more intrigued with what's going on there, seeing all the individual personalities in tag teams. Does that make sense? Like meaning
yeah.
if a lot of the times with these tag teams in WWE, I'm not necessarily focused on the one person or I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say here, but just there was something really special about that, and it really made me spark that question of going, is AEW's tag team division deeper than WWE's? And when I asked Delu, and Delu, that we're gonna hopefully have him on the podcast and get to talk to him in the near future, he seemed to agree.
I mean, it's an interesting debate. I might have a different point of view in that, but and we'll keep it to a different episode.
For sure.
But yeah, it's a very interesting debate to be honest, and we should talk about it in our next episode or an episode in the future. Um, moving forward to the final match of the night, Logan,
Yeah.
for the AEW World Championship, Hangman Adam Page defeated Kyle Fletcher, the Proto Star,
Yep.
by pinfall. And again, Kyle Fletcher is also from the Don Callis family, so Don Callis was again ringside for this match. And this was the longest match of the night, going on for 38 minutes and 10 seconds. And I think, again, another five-star match.
Yeah.
There's a flawless match. I would say. I mean, there's nothing wrong in the match. It was expected that Hangman would retain, and the Don Callis family was banned from the ringside, I believe. Um, and yeah, they were banned from the ringside. There were rumors that someone else might interfere,
Hmm.
but we didn't see that. And it was a clean match and a good wrestling match to end the night.
I think in a night where it had all these bells and whistles, you had blood, you had tacks, you had tables, you had chairs, you had ladders, you had fire, you had coffins, you had every single thing that makes up what this event was. And to have it end in a clean title match that was a pure, arguably 5-star wrestling match
Yeah.
was
Um,
something special.
and again, I don't know about you, but it was my first time watching Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
I've heard a few things about him. He is from Australia, I believe. And one thing on a side note here, a lot of great wrestling talent in the recent times have has come out from Australia.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean Rhea Ripley being one of them in WWE,
Hmm.
and now we have Kyle Fletcher. We also have what's his name
Uh, well,
Joey's partner in
he's
AEW.
so memorable that he would hate.
Jason Waller.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
he's
from
an
Australia.
MMA guy too. I do like him as a person because he's
Yeah,
really high on MMA. But anyways,
but yeah, that was the point. But yeah, Kyle Fletcher was amazing. Great moveset. Um, kind of reminds me of Randy Orton physique wise.
yeah, like a young Randy Orton for sure.
Randy,
Yeah.
yeah, like a baby Randy Orton. But yeah, man, he's young. I think 26 years old only.
Yep.
And Hangman also talked about him in the press conference, giving him his flowers that he was really good. I mean, he doubted him before the match, but he was really good. Not good enough to win the title, but yeah, good enough to put on a great match.
Yeah, there was lots of really cool references in this match. What a couple of what was it, Kenny Omega's moves
Yeah,
that were used reference by Hangman. Lots of spots that look like enders and had just the quick last second kick out. This was, and I've said it and I said it before, it was everything that this match needed to be and more. It was a long match.
it was.
It didn't feel like a long match. It went again with a match or with a night that had so many bells and whistles, to have a clean match be one of the most entertaining matches of the night. It was it was the cherry on top that this night needed. And maybe we can transition to the night as a whole here,
Yeah.
being just kind of our overall thoughts. We'll give it a grade, and then also maybe just talk about the significance of the night. Um, I'll let you start it off for us, because I feel like once I go, I'm gonna probably go for a second here. So
Like you said, I feel like this entire pay-per-view, from the pre-show to the main card, every single match, there was not a match that I found was bad or awful. A couple of matches that we little like criticize a bit were the word not what was the term, the worst of the best.
yep,
Um, and I believe, I think Tony Khan mentioned it in his presser that this was their most successful show in Toronto in
yes,
terms of, I think, crowd, the gate money, and all that. I mean, the numbers they did on this pay per view were amazing.
and
The
we
best,
have to remember it was their debut pay per view on HBO Max, and they
yeah,
decided to come to Toronto, Canada, at the Scotiabank Arena for their debut match. or for their debut event on HBO Max, and that is
Absolutely.
very significant.
It is. And I believe just the card itself, like I mentioned before, just like a complete card in itself, from returns, from surprises, um, from what's it called? Oh yeah, from surprises. I would mention this. I think we forgot about this completely. After the ladder match, Nick and Matt Jackson, if that's their name,
Yep.
they're in the ring, and Jack Perry showed up. Jack Perry showed up. He attacked them,
Yep.
and then they attacked him back, and the lights went out, and we saw
Luchasaurus.
Luchasaurus. The crowd chanted, as they chanted during the first match when Cope was getting attacked by
Yep.
FT. But this time he did show up and reunited with Jack Perry to bring back the Jurassic Express and the famous song the entire crowd was singing and waving their hands. So I just want to touch on that because I feel like that was significant. We forgot about it.
Yeah,
So
I don't
yeah,
know how we missed that. That was
yeah,
electric. That was amazing. What and just again, just this speaks to the knowledge of the fans that were in attendance, right? Being singing the song ahead of time and kind of knowing, and just when AEW gave exactly what the fans were wanting, it couldn't have gone more perfect.
so yeah, Logan, that and like things like that, I think it completed the entire card with shocks like Statlander winning the women's title, with 5-star matches of Okada and Takeshita and Dorada or Hangman and Kyle Fletcher, or the ladder match, or entertaining or bloody matches like Moxley and Darby Allin, or Briscoe and MJF, or return of Eddie Kingston. Just out and out a perfect, for me. Like, I would give it like A plus, man. I don't know. It might be a stretch. Like if I have to give it a grade, I'll give it A plus. I think it was a perfect card.
I think you're not too far off for Oz, and I think there's so many things that go into this. I think the first being that when AEW first set off to have this event, it was mainly, we want to make sure that our first pay-per-view event on HBO Max is a hit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the brother or the bully from across the pond comes and says, "Well, actually, we're gonna not like I was gonna say double, and then I went triple, and then in my mind I'm going like 100x the pressure on top of you, because not only are you launching a new program on a new network, we're going to do the exact same thing. We are going to create an event, and also it's going to launch on a brand new network. And oh, by the way, that network is called ESPN Plus. Have you heard of it? Right? So the pressure going into September 20th, 2025, where it was All Out versus WrestlePalooza, was on AEW. It was on All Out to perform. And I think we got about halfway through that pay-per-view, and we
Yeah.
went, and if I was WWE watching that, maybe using a VPN and on a different Wi-Fi to make sure that nobody catches you watching the AEW event, I would have been shaking in my boots, because the quality of the event that AEW put on could not have gone any better. And I think the reason why we can give it such a high grade is because when you compare it to what happened at WrestlePalooza sucked.
It did.
ESPN came out and said it sucked. Now, they didn't use that verbiage, but I don't think if you look at a letter grade and you go, I got a C, I don't think you go and say, I did good. You probably go, I did below average. I probably sucked. And
And they had, and just sorry to cut you off,
yeah,
and they had better time zone. The peak, like 7 p.m. Eastern was their time zone of starting WrestlePalooza. AEW on the other hand changed their time zone and went for an afternoon show, which started at 2 p.m. Eastern.
they had to move the whole entire event because the mean big bully came in and said, "All right, you're going to do that. We didn't have an event plan, but we do now." And they said, "Put your best versus our best." And AEW took a gamble, and you could say WWE took a gamble.
Yep.
And in my opinion, I think we are going to look at September 20th, 2025 as the moment that AEW is on par with WWE.
It is, man. I mean, the last match of AEW with Hangman and Kyle Fletcher kind of go. I think John, it went along with Cena and Brock Lesnar, and we saw how Cena and Brock Lesnar went. It was nowhere near how good Fletcher and Adam Page's
Brutal.
match was. So I think WWE just fumbled with WrestlePalooza, and it was nowhere close to All Out.
I think, and this is kind of my closing point on this, there was so much at stake. AEW had no other choice but to succeed here, and the fact that they did is going to greatly impact their business moving forward. I do think that AEW still struggles on the storytelling aspect of it, but that is something that is easily fixable. Their talent is amazing. The matches that they put on is amazing. And if they can be anywhere in the realm of WWE when it comes to storytelling, because we have to say it, WWE storytelling is above no other. There is countless times where we look at an event like a WrestlePalooza and we go, that wasn't the greatest. But then they do something later on to make us realize that it wasn't a greatest for a reason. And if that's the case, we are the first ones to say we were wrong. In WWE we trust. But again, if AEW even steps up their storytelling a little bit, if I was WWE coming out of September 20th, 2025, if I wasn't worried before, I'd be worried now. I'd be real worried. Because if we look at the numbers of tickets that were sold at WrestlePalooza, I was hearing around 13,000. Now, they were charging an arm and a leg for that, so they were still probably pretty damn profitable. But AEW did close to 12. If I'm a competitor, if I'm WWE and I'm looking at my competitor, and I'm saying, well, people are online are saying that the event was better, and they put up similar numbers that we put up, and they went to an arena that we've done X amount of times. If, like I said, if I wasn't worried, I'd be worried now.
Absolutely. I mean, Logan, the talent AEW has, like one thing you mentioned, the storytelling can be improved, and that's not a hard fix. Just get like better writers, I guess.
Yeah,
And like the wrestlers in itself, either either the wrestlers that they have made or the ones they've got from WWE doesn't matter. It's their AEW wrestlers now,
yep,
and they're doing an incredible job. And just to mention, there were a lot of big names not on this card. Kenny Omega was injured, not on
right?
this card.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole was not on this card.
Yep.
Will Ospreay was not on this card.
Some of
With
their biggest names were not on this card, and they did that.
yeah,
It was, to say one word, it was incredible for us. It was, I was telling people post the show, I think it was one of those days where I'm like, I'm going to remember that day for the rest of my life. And kind of just to put a cherry on top of the show here for us, I do want to, again, just say thank you to AEW for being so hospitable to us. They put us in incredible seats. We were around some incredible people. There's moments there where we definitely got a little bit of imposter syndrome because we're looking, we're going, that's who's sitting beside us. That's who's sitting beside us. But at the end of the day, we're all fans.
I mean, shout out to our college, Centennial College,
Yep.
for making it happen.
Yep.
Shout out to Matt Boyd and Adam Hopkins of AEW.
Yep.
And a couple of shout outs to some streamers that I talked to, Conman Reacts. And I couldn't talk to him, but Simon Miller of What Culture Wrestling was also there at the event.
Yeah, it was and D Lou. We were
Lulu
with, we
podcast
sat with
for
him the whole time. He was great. And yeah, the last thing I want to touch on is we did get to ask Tony Khan a question in the post show. That was a really cool opportunity for us, getting to not only shout out our podcast, but to be able to talk to Tony Khan personally. Was just like, I mean, not a one-on-one, but in the press conference. I'm gonna roll that clip here.
Back here.
Hey Tony, just at the back here. Logan Brown with the Behind the Bell podcast. What is your message for fans who may have caught their first AEW wrestling event tonight?
Thank you very much for watching. I hope that everybody enjoyed it. I always like to ask the live crowds, how many of you have been to AEW before? And then who's here for the first time ever? And I always like when you go out after and get a chance, if I can ask, do you have a good time? And usually I feel like almost always the answer from the people in the crowd is a resounding yes. And I would love to say the same thing to everybody watching at home, even though I can't literally hear the feedback like I can from the fans in the arena. Whether it was your first time watching AEW or whether you've watched it a few times before or many, many times before or anything in between, thank you for watching tonight. I really appreciate everybody who watched AEW All Out, the fans here in the arena who helped us make history, and all the fans who watch on all the different pay-per-view platforms all over the world. It was really important, given the strength of the relationship and the importance of the relationship between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery. It was really important to hit a home run on HBO Max in every way. The quality of the wrestling, the quality of the production, the technical aspects of the show, and the complete package. And I felt like we knocked the whole complete package out of the park. So that was really cool. Thank you.
So yeah, again, just absolutely incredible experience. One that I think both of us are super gracious that we got to be a part of. And if we weren't AEW fans before, tell you right now, we are now. We are now.
Absolutely. And me and Logan made a promise that we're gonna watch AEW regularly now,
Mm-hmm.
and try to cover it regularly on our podcast as well.
Absolutely. So if you enjoyed us covering AEW All Out, please feel free to not only like this, but then subscribe. All of those things, whether it's on YouTube, whether if it's on Spotify. I think Spotify, if you leave a comment, that helps. Or just, I mean, subscribing to our podcast is just we're super appreciative if you listen and you watch every week. We will be doing more AEW content. Faraz and I will be doing a WWE recap of the last couple weeks we've been away, kind of just talking about, the AJ Lee returns, more in depth WrestlePalooza. We did slightly, or I think we reacted to when Brock came back, but we'll do a little bit more how the story has progressed. If you want all that, like I said, leave us a comment. Look out for that soon. And yeah, that's been it for us. That was our AEW All Out 2025 podcast and review. My name's Logan Brown. That was Faraz Hashmi. That was Behind the Belt. Thanks.